This video is about property investing for beginners. You will learn in about 10 minutes why people select real estate and get wealthy, but please pay attention. Although it makes some people very wealthy over time, not everyone chooses real estate, and I also understand why. Now let's take a look at the positive and the negative aspects of real estate investing. How people get seriously wealthy over time? Invest in real estate and keep it. Rent it out. The tenants pay the rent, and the rent is enough to cover the expenses like gas, water, light, insurance, including the mortgage. The tenant also pay for your mortgage. Now, on top of this, the property has another benefit. It will appreciate over time. Maybe not every year the same hype that we have seen in the last couple of years, but learn from history. People tend to get wealthy owning property because over a long period of time, it's very likely that the property prices increase. Is it that simple? Well, basically, yes. But let's dive a little bit deeper into the matter and gain more understanding about why you should select real estate as an investment route. And what about inflation? And I will share 5 important things that I've learned from my own personal experience so far. I would like you to meet Jessica. She has 100,000 euros available and is investing in real estate. Now, with this down payment, she invests in a rented out property worth 500,000 euros. Her 100,000 euros in the bank is costing money these days. She would invest in stocks, bonds, or crypto, but that has no backed asset. So she likes tangible asset where she practically can go to. On top of this, her 100,000 euro investment has now become an asset worth 500,000 euros. Now, let me explain. She found a really nice rented out property and got a mortgage for 400,000 euros for a period of 30 years. Today, the sum of the interest rate plus the down payment is 5% fixed for 30 years. For today, in this video, I've taken 5%, which is a very realistic number. But when you watch this video at a later point in time, this percentage will most probably be lower or a bit higher, but it will be different. The principal and interest amounts to 400,000 times 5%, 1,667 euros per month. Just to add the maintenance cost, insurance cost, property taxes. Now, as these costs are in most countries not charged to the tenant. The total expense for a property will be about 2,507 euros per month. Now, change those numbers as per your situation for your planned property. The tenants pay more than 2,800 euros per month every month, so this will cover easily all the cost. Now, Jessica already makes money on her property after paying all the monthly expenses. Well, that's nice, but not her only objective. The property mortgage is paid down as well every month. So if everything would stay the same for 30 years, there will be no mortgage, and the value of the property will be very likely to be more than 500,000 euros. Well, she only invested 100,000. So that's a 400,000 euro gain after selling the property after 30 years. But not everything will stay the same. Most probably the value of the property is likely to increase year after year. On average, let's say 2 to 4%, but let's take 3% value increase in Jessica's case to be average. That 3% increase is on the total property value and not just on her initial investment of 100,000. She now turned her 100,000 euros investment to 1.2 million euros over a period of 30 years. That's a return of around 8.75% per year. Very smart choice, Jessica. Well, that sounds good, really good. But often people ask me the following. What about inflation? What if the property market collapses? What guarantees do I have? Really valid questions. And obviously we try to reduce the risk as much as we can. Now we project inflation between 2 to 4% per year on average, as projected by the American and European banks. Now let's look at the following graph. Jessica could have left her 100,000 euros in the bank. Besides the bank charges, her money would grow in a negative direction due to inflation. So her money would have shrunk by about 50% as far as buying power is concerned over this period of time. So comparing to these 30 years. Now, any amount over 100,000 euro is not insured in a savings account. Now, instead, the rental property of Jessica is increasing in value each year. Her property value would have been between 500,000 and 1.2 million. because inflation will obviously affect the buying power over time when she decides to sell her property after 30 years. She has enjoyed the rental income and keeps doing so over all these years. The rental income from Jessica's property is also likely to increase. Now, in her forecast, the rent increases are equal or higher than the inflation rate. So, no fear of not being able to pay her property expenses, as she will always have the asset as 100% ownership. It's a secure house and debt-free in the end. Now, if you want to learn more about these topics, do follow us. Our training, The Real Property Deal, goes in depth on property selection, forecasts, IRR calculations, acquisition, architectural design and renovations, rentals, refinancing, and all to help you become wiser in real estate investing and to make sure risks, like mentioned before, are prevented as much as possible. Now, what if the property market collapses? Well, your tenants most probably will not move out of the house and stop living. It will not be the time to sell your property. So what do I think? By then, in a market collapse, it's the right time to buy real estate and wait. Are there guarantees? No, sorry, there are no guarantees. No guarantees in life nor in business. Now, we do take care of the things to do when investing in real estate. And just like Jessica, she needs to provide a beautiful house on the market for new tenants. She will need tenants who will pay the rent. She will need to maintain the property and keep the property in good condition, take care of repairs, pay her taxes, and so on. Now, outsourcing these processes is what Jessica will do, obviously at a certain charge. Now, if the numbers work along with these additional expenses, this could be the best solution for her. You know, things can go wrong in any market. Stocks, bonds, crypto, there are no guarantees. And I personally think it is wise to work on assets that stand the test of time, like real estate has proven. Now, the following 5 lessons learned will help you save money and time, where the last one is the most critical one. First of all, get your insurance for the property and yourself on time. Another beauty of real estate investing is that this asset can be insured, and make sure you have a personal insurance when undertaking activities in the real estate business, simply to protect yourself. Secondly, tenant screening. It has taken me months to get a tenant out of the property who refused to pay the rent. Eventually we had to go legal to have him vacate the property. So we had to do a small cleanup and painting the walls before a new tenant could move in. Thirdly, do your selection and location study before acquiring a buy-to-let or a rental property. Sometimes you get tricked by salespeople who have a so-called very good deal, but have never renovated or rented out a property themselves. So work through the numbers diligently. Point number 4, on-site maintenance. Now make sure you have a company helping you when the property needs urgent maintenance. Running water and installation should always be up and running. A happy tenant is your happy customer. And the last one, 5, is funding. When you start with an investment project, make an accurate budget. If you work with investors, make them aware of the risk involved and the possible consequences, and have them prove to you they have the funding available. A lack of funding causes an entire project to slow down or halt. Show the money, have your investors give proof of funds. Now, if this all sounds complicated or not interesting enough, please do not follow Jessica's example of investing in real estate. There are many more, but often riskier, investment options. Or get some serious training and develop in knowledge and experience. Now, I personally find assets I understand, like real estate, they give me more security than many of the wild investment markets out there. Now, if you're interested and want to know more, please like this video and follow us for more content.